In today's tutorial, I'm going to show you how to manipulate and edit eyes using Adobe Photoshop. The reason why I'm doing this tutorial is because a lot of the time when you're taking pictures of wildlife, there's not a lot of color on the animals. When that happens, the eyes can become very, very dark and you end up with not a lot of detail. So this is a black parrot, which is native to Madagascar. And you can see here, because we are taking a picture of a dark subject, the eyes go dark as well. And obviously that has to do with where you are, the time of day, the sun, all of that as well. But 9 times out of 10, I find that there isn't any detail within the eyes. So what I'm going to do is show you how to just make these pop, come alive a little bit. So I'm going to start from the beginning and walk you through the process. So the first thing you want to do is come up to the top and go to File, New, and we want to create a new document. It can be any size you want. 2000 by 2000 pixels is absolutely fine. It's big enough. And what we then want to do is come up to the lasso tool up here, and we want to just create a random shape. It doesn't have to be perfect, just something along them lines there. So then what I'm going to do is come over to my black and white colors over here. Just make sure they're black and white. You can press X on the keyboard to change them. Then I'm going to press Control or Command Backspace, and that's just going to fit it with black there. So you need to have black as your background color. Then press Control Command D just to deselect everything. Then come over to here and you want to select Custom Shape Tool. And if you come up to the top here, you can see you've got all these different shapes. Now you can pretty much select any one of these. What I'm going to do is just come down to leafy trees here, and I want to select something maybe like the maple tree. I'm going to click and drag just so it fits within that area there. That looks good. So we can just click and we can change the shape of this and the size. So what I want to do is just make this a little bit bigger so it fits within this black area. So I'm probably going to get rid of some of the trunk down there and have it around there. That looks pretty good. So we've got a nice shape there. Next thing we want to do is come up to the rectangle marquee tool, and we just want to make a selection. So I'm just drawing around it there, and then come up to edit and then define brush preset. I'm going to call this iBrush 101 and just say okay to that. So once you've created that brush, you find you'll never need to create it again. You can use it time and time again. So what I'm going to do is just make the brush smaller by pressing the brackets keys and get it to around there. Now if you come up to the top here, you can actually open this panel up, and then you've got this here, which is the angle. So we can just change the angle a little bit. I think somewhere around there is good. So I'm just going to click once, and you can see what that's done. Now if you wanted to, you could come to here and you could select a color, and then you could do that and you'd get a color as well. So if you've got like water or sky, you could add a blue into that and it would give you like a blue hue. Just now we've done that, let's create a mask, and we want to come up to here and just select soft round brush. And with this, we just want to zoom in and just get rid of some of the overlay that's come over from that brush onto the eye there. You can see we just want to get rid of that section there. And what I'm going to do is just bring the opacity down, and what I'm going to do is just go around the edges here just to get rid of this solid line that's been created. So we just want to soften that. So I'm going to bring this opacity up a little bit more and just soften this line up here. That's it. And then I'm going to go over the actual pupil as well, so I don't want that to be affected. Next we're going to add another layer and then drag that underneath what we've just done, and then go to edit, fill, and then we want to select 50% grey, and then come over to the dodge tool, make sure it's selected on midtones, and then come up to the top here and select the blend mode to overlay. So once we've done that, we can then come in, and all we're going to do is just come in and brighten some of these areas. You can change the exposure at the top here, increase it, decrease it. So as you can see, as I'm working this, it's just starting to bring some of that light. It's just starting to bring some of that brightness out here. So what I want to do is just go with some of the edges because that's how the light hits the eye. Because of the shape of it, just get these areas in here. There we go. So you can see what that's done there. It's just given us a little bit more life into them highlighted areas. So if we select a new layer here, and then what we can do is if we select somewhere that's in the eye, so there's like a little bit of golden brown there, we can increase that up there, and then come to the brush again, just using the soft round brush, which is the default one in there in Photoshop. And then what we're going to do is just paint this over the whole eye there. And then all we need to do is come into the blend mode and just select color, and that will give us some color on the eye. And again, we can also bring this opacity down. You can also press Control Command U to bring up the hue saturation, just bring that saturation down a little bit. And if we wanted to, we could change the hue as well, so we could get all different types of colors that we want. So if you come in here and you make a mistake, then all you need to do is just create another mask, and then you can use the brush tool, and you've got the black and white there to reveal and hide. So I'm on black, so I'm just going to take it away from the edges at the top here. I'm going to take it away from the pupil there as well. That's it. And if I come back to this original layer here, I can just pull this down, because what we don't want to do is over process it. We just want a little bit of color in there, not too much. So, and you can also then come back to this layer, which is your dodge, and we can just come in and just refine some of these areas here, so just brighten them up. And of course you can also use the burn tool as well, and that will just darken some areas. So if you want to add a little bit more contrast back in there, you can. Let's just go in a little bit closer. You can see here these lines are, this is the ivory, so you can just see them, and you can see some of the eyelashes going back in there. And like this area here, I would probably want to darken some of that. So let's just come here and go to shadows, and this will just darken everything now. That's it. So if you look at what that's going to do, it's just going to add loads and loads and loads of contrast, which is exactly what we want. So if we come up to the history and just select the snapshot tool, you can see this is the before and this is the after, and it gives you a really nice way of just adding some detail into the eye, so you can play around and really get some nice effects there. But it just takes away that dark sort of void you get with eyes, so you can really manipulate these and play around. It just makes it a little bit more dynamic, I think. So I hope that's helped, and I'll catch you in the next video. Take care. Bye bye.